Do you think veganism is a scam?
Do I think it's a scam?
Yeah. Because I've tried it for 2 years.
Wow. I would say that's impressive. So here's what I would say from a very non-pejorative way. With veganism, it's very hard to get your protein intake where it needs to be. Most of the people I speak to are individuals that are 35 and up, and protein is critically important. We need more protein with age, not less. What I like about veganism is that if you're doing it purely without all the processed food crap, you're probably eating more nutrient-dense foods. You're probably eating more vegetables. You're probably going out of your way to get some plant-based protein. And by that, I mean not the soy-based, but nuts and seeds and things like that. And I think if you're going from a standard American diet to that, that's probably not a bad thing. You'll probably feel pretty good. And then you're going to you're going to be missing things, B12 and other items from your diet. And so I think that is certainly a circumstance where I would say maybe that's a good idea to do for a couple months if you need a reset. But my concern about veganism or just being vegan is the lack of protein. And I think, and no, animal-based protein is superior in their amino acid profile. And as we get older, we need more protein, not less. So my teenagers that I was talking about, very athletic, very lean, very fit, they probably need a lot less protein to trigger muscle protein synthesis in the body to help build and maintain muscle versus my husband and I. And so that is why it's so important that as we're getting older, that we're really conscientious. Like I know I need a minimum, for me personally, 50 grams. That's what I aim for at that first meal of the day to, break my fast. And my concern about veganism, just taking
you consume 50 grams of protein
in my first meal.
With the breakfast? Mm-hmm. Wow, what do you do? Steak? Eggs?
Oftentimes, yes.
That's a lot.
But I feel good that way, and that's what works for me. But that is always my concern about veganism, is that I think oftentimes what is overeaten is a lot of processed foods, a lot of soy-based foods.
Not enough leucine.
Yeah, well, and that leucine threshold is super important. And actually, I was talking to someone else on the podcast talking about there's a certain supplement that's coming out that gives a dileucine threshold, so it stimulates more muscle protein synthesis. Having said that, that's my concern about veganism is most of the patients that I see, they're not doing even eggs. They're not doing any dairy. They're grossly under-eating protein. They get very sarcopenic, meaning muscle loss, which starts with strength loss, which is catastrophic. Yeah, which is a catastrophic process. I know because I lost most of my muscle being hospitalized for 13 days and being in a hospital bed. But helping people understand, there's certainly a way to navigate nutritional choices thoughtfully. Like I do respect the fact that when I talk to some vegans, they really have a tremendous love and reverence for animals, and I can respect that. And I never want to diminish that, but helping them understand, like we just need to round out your macros to make sure that you're setting yourself up for not overeating carbs, not undereating protein, and making sure you're not buying into the processed food game, because even a Twinkie, believe it or not, is technically vegan.
Twinkie is a cookie?
It's like a Hostess product it's like a cake, but it's not a cake. It's crap. It will probably outlive the apocalypse. It's a terrible thing. I think when I was a kid, I liked them. They probably were real food back then, but now it's just a bunch of crap.
But every time you take a vegan product and you see the ingredients list, it's like this.
Correct.
And you can't even spell it, pronounce
Correct.
it. You don't
I'm like, I'm not
what,
even
what
sure what that is. And that's the game I used to play with my kids when we would go grocery shopping. I would say, how many ingredients are on the food label? Can you pronounce it? And I'm like, if I don't know what it is and you don't know what it is and we can't pronounce it, then we're not eating it. And so, again, veganism, that's my greatest concern. How did you feel when you were vegan for 2 years?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Just terrible. So I had this thing on my lips. I don't know, how is it called? Just inflammation on the lip. And it stayed like for 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. Then I switched to eating just fish. It was gone like in 2 days.
Yeah, it was a protein deficiency.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people forget. And it's interesting. I have a family member who will remain nameless who was vegan for 5+ years, and it really messed up her hormones, like so substantially that I think it's left, an untoward impact on her health. And she would talk very openly about that. I'm not sharing anything that she would be uncomfortable about. But I think people start doing veganism out of a curiosity, and then they get to a point where they feel good initially because they're eating more real food, hopefully, more, nutrient dense, vegetables, seeds, etc. But it gets very, very challenging to get enough protein in. And that's always my concern. I'm like, if you understand what we're up against as we get older, and maybe your listeners are aware of this, maybe they're not, there's this protein leverage hypothesis. And so if you're not getting enough protein in your diet, your body will find a way to extract calories from something else. So this is when patients will tell me, I ate a really good lunch, and then I got really busy in the afternoon and I wasn't able to get enough of my dinner in. And then the pantry was calling me at 9 o'clock at night. And it's because their body's looking for more food, and it's going to get it from something probably hyper processed. You're not craving a steak at 9 o'clock at night. It's probably chips. It's probably ice cream.
Something quick.
Right. Those, hyper processed carbs and probably some unhealthy fats. And so helping people understand, like, your body intuitively will let you know if you're in need of something. It's our responsibility to be conscientious about it.